And during European Economic Congress that is taking place in Katowice right now, Poland, in 20 years of being in the European Union, is also being discussed. And with us, we have Paweł Łaskarzewski, CEO of Nomad Fulcrum. And we would like to talk to you about the funds that Poland is receiving from the European Union. And 245.5 billion euros is the total amount that Poland received from European Union from May 1st till December 2023. At the same time, Poland transferred 83.7 billion euros as membership fees. And we don't really talk about this often, how this works. How are these fees being calculated? One country is paying more, the other one less. Can you tell us more about that?
So there are a couple of ways how those numbers are being calculated. One is the size of the economy, the growth of the economy. Poland, since enter to European Union, was seen as the country that is in their growth. Germany was already there. France was already there. UK, that by that time was also in the European Union, was already a well-established economy. We were just starting in that market. We were just starting to grow. We were just starting building our economy, something called economy. Before that, it was like not economy at all. So we were seen as such, and we are still seen as such, as a country that is developing their economy. So this is one of the weights that are used to calculate if we are putting more or if we are getting more from European Union. So those are the economic factors are very important in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of Poland paying into the EU, I think one of the things that we celebrate now, especially because we've just celebrated that 20th anniversary of entering the EU, we've been focusing a lot on how Poland has benefited from being in the EU, and indeed Poland has, because we can just look around and we can see that. But I think we try and avoid perhaps the topic of how much it actually costs to be in the EU, and one of the increasing costs is that of bringing in green energy, because there are a lot of transformative legislation and then the actual practical side of bringing in green energy. Can you tell us a little bit about those costs versus the benefits, the financial benefits that Poland still continues to get from the EU? Will it cost us more to be in the EU?
When speaking about benefits that Poland gets while entering European Union, it's not just about the money. We had an open market. Before that, Polish companies could only operate within the boundaries of our own country. That was an issue because if we want to grow, if we want to have a bigger economy, stronger companies that are operating and competing on the European market, we need to have open borders. And this is one of the biggest profits we got. So this is like hardly calculated very often in different calculations. But moving back to the topic of the green energy, like there are a lot issues around that, a lot of struggling between the countries that are, developing their economy like we do, and the ones that already established very well their freedom from external sources of energy, like France, who has like 60 or 70% of the power from nuclear plants. It's like they are almost self-sustainable. Germans, who had a lot, but they started to shut it down and to focus on the green transformation of the energy market. So I believe like we need to find some kind of solution, and there need to be a compromise in between different countries, because for us in the current moment, put all into green energy transformation might be hard. The good approach is that we are thinking about nuclear plants. This is one of the most green energy that is in there, because before that, like long time ago, everyone thought that this, the fuel that is being used, and then we need to do something with it once it's used. The toxic fuel after being used within the power plant should be stored somewhere. Right now, we have the technology that can allow us to reuse that once again. So there is no trash that is going out of the nuclear plant. So that's why this is one of the very safe and good source of energy. And it's good that we are thinking about that. But, moving all into that by 2030, as far as you remember, I don't know if it's not too short.
Poland is also still very coal dependent.
That's
and that transition is also very costly.
yes, that's true. Like most of our power plants in Poland are coal dependent. So yeah.
But speaking of nuclear plants, where are we? Because I mean, we have goal, but where are we in reality?
So in reality, we are on the paper basically right now. We have plans, but nothing concrete has been done so far. So there are places where which has been selected to deploy the power plants. There are companies that we are speaking and almost signed all the contracts that should deliver the whole technology, because Poland doesn't have access to the technology. We need to buy this from France, Germany, US, or someone else that have access to their own technology that can be deployed on the ground of our country. So basically we are very early in that. But if we will decide as a country to move on into that direction, we might have a same position in like next decade or even less.
But is it a matter of political decisions?
It's always a political decision, because energy sector is the crucial for running the whole country. So it's one of the most important sectors that is dependent 100% based on the political decisions. So definitely it's a political one.
Mm-hmm.
And so in terms of the EU, as when Poland joined the EU and now the EU that we are in at the moment, these are very different beasts. It's a completely different institution. I had quite a number of conversations during the first days of May when we were discussing a lot of where Poland is now and how Poland has benefited. But people didn't really want to talk about where the EU is now versus what it was when Poland joined. In terms of where the economy is going from here onwards, how do you see Poland's progression economically and in all other ways in terms of how it is connected and bound to the EU?
So from my own perspective, we moved forward very fast in the last like 20 years. That was basically my first election ever, when like the EU election. So I seen the changes that we had since then. A couple of companies I co-founded during that time were benefiting from grants from European Union. Were able to grow to #1 companies in the biotech AI space in the world just because of ability to operate in the EU market, ability to have access to the funds, because of the customers that were able to speak with us on the same level, not as some kind of third country company that doesn't know what they do, right? So that changed a lot from my perspective. And from the country perspective, I see that like a lot of industrial investments made in Poland, roads, buildings, infrastructure, everything, in most cases has been financed from the money that we got from European Union. Of course, we need to contribute, but most of the people do not know that a lot of those contributions are going back to us. So one of the very interesting examples is European Space Agency. So we deployed capital to European Space Agency, but after that, they provide grants and jobs for Polish space companies. So this money is circling back to our country, even though that we are depositing this to European Union.
If a country has a good, infrastructure, then other companies want to move in, want to invest. So you're right, this money is just circulating around. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.